Hello.
Hello. Just to quickly say, now my dad can't say we're late because we're not late. Oh, it's my phone as usual, confirming that we are live. I hope everyone's okay. We currently have 400 people joining us. We'll give people obviously some minutes.
We have things to say in the meantime.
I have a flowery shirt on.
Yes, you look like a ridiculous Hawaiian.
Someone said, I can see that you're still clinging on to summer. I was like, yes, summer's not over. You've gone full history teacher.
I'm a history teacher.
Yeah. Now today we're going to talk about the Romans. So we'll give people a few minutes to arrive.
But in the meantime,
I'll open this while we wait.
Well, we will remind you. Thank you very much for all the photos uploaded. Where you tag our name, the name of the shop with the pictures of your bottles, the bottles of September box, because we will have a prize for at the end.
I'm going to win it.
You're not.
I do more photos than any of these people.
It's a bottle of Pardevalles Carroleón, the beautiful Ribera del Duero, for the winner who upload a picture of today's bottle and tag us, mention us in Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or wherever you want.
What is good is
any social network of the free world.
Although not TikTok, because that's not part
not
of the,
anymore.
It's not part of the free world. There's people outside looking at us going, oh my god, they're so cool. Hello.
Hi.
Don't know who they are. We've got these thing is everybody hopefully
We have more audience here than YouTube.
than YouTube. There's currently 40 people outside. The problem is people wear masks.
Yes.
And we have all these neighbours.
They presume
I recognise
you
this.
have X-rays.
Yeah. I had a guy coming in, hola Luke, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? I was like,
Jesus,
bien. He was like,
who's behind the mask?
but he went, ¿me recuerdas? No, you remember me? And I was like, no. And he went, I was like, oh, Javier, how are you? My dad. Hola, what a shirt. Roque, your sound isn't too good.
Okay,
Maybe it's the coronavirus. I'm also quite loud compared to you normally.
Yeah, but probably this is gonna fix everything.
Well, my dad will definitely tell us if it's working. Right, now.
Well, hello Eva. Well, more things. October box. I know, we haven't finished yet September.
Stop taking our money.
But October box is already set up. And it's great. Look, I'm having so much fun making all these boxes.
Well, I keep having ideas, and then you're like, "Oh, I finished the next box." I'm like, "What?"
Yes, I have already set up April
2025. Well, today we had a tasting with an amazing winery, and and just doing that tasting, we picked out a wine for another box, which was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
And
they love to put pressure on the
they're like, we want to be in the box. We want to be in the box.
We want to be in the box. No, you would not be in my box.
You can't be in the box.
You want to be in your box.
Be careful with that sentiment. Anything else, or shall we start? Because we've got 14 people watching us now.
Nina says the sound is good.
Sounds
the sound
good,
is
guys.
good. So, Mr. Rarakot, maybe your left headphone.
Maybe Dad needs a hearing aid in his left ear. Right, let me pour out some wine for God's sake. What are we drinking today?
Well, today we are drinking Pardevalles Winery Carroleón.
One of my favorite white
Albarín
wines.
Blanco. So this is a very special wine. It's not easy to find it. Actually, well, we know people that have crossed the city several times to buy the
You
bottle.
have Pardevalles, right? I'm like, we do. Welcome, young traveller. Sit down.
I've heard you have this wine.
Legend has spoken that you have this wine. Should we put a photo up on the screen so we can see it? I love this wine. It's a wine close to my heart and my liver. So I discovered this wine a few years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Now, Pardevalles we'll talk about the winery later as usual. Pardevalles is a known winery. It's not some, unknown thing that none of you will hear, or those of you who live in Spain may know it. But this wine is a newer project, and I only discovered this one. I went to a restaurant in the city of León, which is a beautiful historic city. And I went to this Michelin star restaurant because it was the cheapest Michelin star restaurant in Spain. It was a set menu. It was called Cocinandos. If you ever go to Leon, go there. And he said, what would you like to have with this course? Every different course came with a different wine. And he said, you can have a red or a white. And I went, well, let's try the white. And he said, so what I have for you, and he showed the bottle, is a Carroleón. I was like, that's a cool word. It's an albarín, more on that grape, not albarino, an albarín. Fermented in a barrel. I was like, wow. And I knew the winery because I was doing wine tastings with the young version of this wine. And I tried it and I was like, kind of amazing. So, should we have a quick cheers?
Yes.
Before we carry on. Salud!
Cheers.
Yeah, so intriguing. I think my dad would like this.
Wow.
It's got a lot of character, this one. So, you have a nice piece of paper there, Rocky.
Yes, we have to do the homework.
This is not about having fun. This is about this is about doing our work. And
Okay.
this is a really good wine to do this for.
Let's start filling the tech sheet.
So before we the winery, before the grape, before anything, let's just analyze the wine.
Wine.
It is white.
Carroleón. Vintage. We are drinking
2018.
18. Yes. Actually,
The good old days.
well, I have doing some research, and this winery, how old it is?
So the family has been making wine since 1949, but not very old as like a big 30 years, 20
Something like that, right?
And this wine has only been made for like 5 years
Yeah,
max.
exactly. So
Really new.
I haven't found old vintages.
I think
because it's quite new.
2015, I think maybe was the first one.
the first one.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry,
Hugo, if you're watching.
grapes.
It
Albarín
has grape.
Blanco.
It has grapes.
Albarín Blanco.
Oh.
Okay, so do not confuse it with albarino. That can be because for proximity, it's not that far. Albarino Kingdom.
Yeah, so we're in the northwest.
Are they family? Are they related?
So this is the thing. Every time we have people come in the shop and they go, "Oh, I'm looking for a lovely, crisp, fresh white wine," I go, "Oh, I know a really good one from the region of Leon. More on that later." And it's a grape called albarín, and they go, "Oh, albarino! I love albarino." No, just your mouth. Albarín, it's different, not related at all. Alba just means white.
Yeah.
In Latin, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
You're right.
Kazakhstani.
As well.
Yes, also, and also in Papua New Guinean.
Well, there.
It's more like albi. Anyway,
exactly.
albarín. And so albarín, I guess, just means like the little white grape or something. But it's not related to albarino in any way. And as soon as you drink it, you're like, okay, that's different. It's kind of, if you don't have this grape in front of you, it's the most similar might be a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand or something. It's quite, well, we'll talk about what it smells like, but it's quite different to albarín.
Okay, so alcohol content. What about the alcohol content?
It's pretty standard, 13%, not too strong.
It's not too strong.
Not too strong. You can get 14% on these whites.
All right.
But this is normal.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it reminds me.
Did it hurt?
Because the fermentation, after the fermentation, the alcohol content has rise up. Yes,
a little bit, yeah.
Not that much.
No, not that much. But I will talk today a bit about barrel fermentation, what that means for white wines and red wines. But this particular vintage. Maybe it was more in the past. This is not a big, heavy alcoholic wine, but they can be bigger. Mm-hmm. But it will change from year to year and vintage to vintage.
Okay.
So maybe it was a cooler year. Who knows?
Producer Pardevalles is the winery, and region Leon. Well, probably you will see in your label Tierra de León. We are in a. Look, Tarragot. You are so
elegant.
You are so unprofessional.
That's the new one. I was showing the old one.
Okay. Did you want the old one? I also have.
Come on, you got the old one. Show it. I don't believe you.
Yes.
Come on, you can do it.
Okay,
Come on.
here it comes.
Hey!
Okay, so you are drinking Tierra de León, but Tierra de León has changed. Is in the process of changing the name for just León, which I think is
It's better.
It's better.
Because Leon is a strong
It's
word
more,
anyway.
It's more commercial. So Tierra de León, if you see in the next months
think I might have
this
some.
bottle or other bottle from this region with this logo.
Here we go. Same winery. This is the Pardevalles Young Red Wine, and you see there's the new one.
Yeah.
So this is because this is of this year, so you
Yeah.
know it's in the process of changing.
Exactly. So the name of the region now officially is called León, but you still see wines in shops, and Tierra de León.
Yeah.
So it's don't panic. No
Don't panic. It's
No.
the same thing.
Okay, let's start with the analyze of the wine.
I mean, if you look at the color, and
It's so light.
this is what we
It's
call
almost
pale straw. Is what we call this. Very, very pale and creamy and clean. Not creamy at all. Very, very pale and clean. This is like those light Pinot Grigio colors you have. It's not a golden style one.
it's super delicate.
Very, very graceful color, and it's nice and clean, which is good. But it's kind of brillante. They sort of kind of
so clarity, total
shiny.
complete.
Complete clarity.
Yeah. There is something that it comes when I smell it. Is how I don't smell the fermentation. Why?
No. So on the nose, I don't know if anybody here has this wine. We never know who's watching.
It's much more intense than the color can.
Oh yeah. But that's because the color, in theory,
You can imagine for the color.
yeah, I mean the color in theory does not dictate the aromas of the wine, but we know it's had some barrels, so we're expecting something. I mean, there's something, delicate, spicy, but this smells quite young. I think maybe they're using bigger barrels this year. I have not checked that. But when I had this before, which was the 2015 vintage, it was a lot of
oaky?
a lot of oakiness, a lot of sort of bananas and a bit more vanilla. I mean, again, later we'll talk about it, but barrel fermentation is always more delicate than making a young wine and aging it in a barrel. Ben says Parma violets on the nose, not in the mouth though. That's probably a good thing. Yeah, it is. It's very floral and minerally and quite grassy.
I get something tropical. I don't know what it is.
Maybe kiwi.
Not that tropical.
Kiwis, you can buy them in Sainsbury's in Maidenhead. Not that tropical. Dragon fruit is tropical, not kiwi. You can buy kiwi from the local green.
Cheers for me.
Yeah, to Maidenhead.
I had someone in a tasting the last weeks who said that Maidenhead was the worst place on earth.
They were doing that because you said my business partner is from there and I was standing in the corner and they were from London and trying to be funny. Slough is the worst place in the world. Not Maidenhead. I think what you get with albarín as the grape is it's sort of like a little bit if Verdejo from Spain, Rueda area, and Sauvignon Blanc and Albarino had a baby.
What?
If you can imagine that.
I have here a picture. This is a beautiful albarín
Yeah,
Blanco.
they're lovely little looking. They look
It's
like
quite delicate.
yeah, like little sort of little snacky grapes. But you have this famous florality and minerality, which is what you get from the albarín. But you have, like you said, sort of a tropical note, maybe gooseberries. Like if you're any English, they might know gooseberries.
Do you get any? Do you get any tropical notes in the aromas? Oh my god!
The barrel is very delicate.
Yeah.
Almost imperceptible this year. There's a little bit of something spicy over the top, which is probably the barrel. I wonder if they've. I should probably be professional and confirm this before with Hugo. But I wonder if they've fermented in bigger barrels this year.
Anyway, I would say it's much easier to drink. One of the handicaps with fermented whites are they are not for all audiences.
Yeah.
That's something that we have learned from the shop. there is a
Perception.
perception that white wine has to be light and fresh,
Super young,
and
super fresh.
crispy, and it's it's not easy to introduce customers into the world of fermented wines. People from other countries like California, they may be more used to.
But they're used to it, but I've noticed there it's quite bipolar. Or they go, oh my god, I hate oaky, because they have these very oaky Chardonnays, which this is not. Or they just love them. I mean, the French, you got the Sauvignon Blancs and Puy Fumé. The French do them more delicate like this. But in Spain, it's apart from Rioja.
Yeah,
it's not that common traditionally.
It's not that common. Yeah.
No. And so when you say I have an albarín, and they go, what's albarín? You go, yeah, from Leon. From Leon, and it's fermented in a barrel. it's like
witchcraft.
Yes, this is just a weird potion. They can't really cope with it. Next.
Well, let's move to the tasting phase.
Yes, well, we already have.
Texture in mouth. When you drink a fermented wine, you should expect more unctuosity. More like a more oily feeling in the mouth. In this case, it's quite light.
But it does cover.
Still have it, but we have tried longer fermentation wines, white wines, with they are like to drink butter or something. What is this?
That's lovely. That's what we do in England. So we have a breakfast. It's a nice glass of butter. But yeah, this one's quite. I think maybe because the alcohol. I think it's a bit less this year than on previous years. But yeah, no. Actually, Ben just said other albarines I've tried can be much thinner and tasting and sharp, but this has some lovely depth. It is quite, and it has a taste of. When I was little, I used to, for breakfast, I would often have a red, I think they're called blood grapefruits, a very red inside, small grapefruit, pomelo, right? And I would cut it in half, and my mum would segment the little pieces, because I was a fat child, and I was like, Mum,
you still are.
Yeah. Only here. And I would then eat the little bits, and then at the end I would squeeze out, and it'd be a bit of sugar on top of the flesh of the pomelo, grapefruit, and then at the end I would squeeze all the lovely sweet juice out of the bit of that grapefruit into this little sort of an ice cream sundae dish, and drink it, and it gives me that same retrogusto.
Yeah, to me the mandarins.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah, exactly. So they have something like citruses there. Persistence, I would say it's very persistent.
It's quite long, yeah.
Yeah. And what about balance?
I would say before balance, you do notice a bit of the oak in the palate. When you've swallowed it, about 20 seconds later you get a little bit of nutty toastiness. There's a little bit there.
Balance, I would say, is pretty balanced.
Yeah, it's really balanced, actually.
Yeah, there is no any specific element out of order or out of control. No, everything is like
out of control.
In its place.
Would you like some more?
Yeah, please. What would you pair with this wine, Mr. Darakat? Drink that. Swallow first.
Goat's cheese.
Goat cheese.
Cheeses. This is
that's unexpected.
Because of the herbality, el toque herbáceo. Fish maybe, yeah, but my brain with this, it wants like chicken, like a creamy chicken pie or goat's cheese and salads, because it's got a real herby florality to it. So for me personally, as soon as I started drinking this, I wanted I'm getting hungry now. I wanted goat's cheese on bread with like some chutney or jam on top, like. I don't know, because it's got a really good acidity.
I would pair it with anything with wings.
I don't know what
chicken.
I don't know what to do
sparrows.
with that. I don't know what to do with that. Yeah, okay. It would go well with birds. I think it might go quite
chicken,
well.
turkey. It would match perfectly this one, especially if it's done grilled. Oh. That you have these cold.
Yeah. What would you guys?
What would you pair with this?
I want to know how many people watching right now actually have this wine. Ben does.
do not let any pretentious asshole to tell you what you have to eat with your wine. So feel free to pair it with whatever you want.
If you want to pair it with Pop-Tarts in the morning, you can.
Yeah.
Or maybe not in the morning. Well, maybe. Yeah.
Well, serving temperature,
Nice and cold, this one, I think.
nice and
Nice
cold.
and chilled.
I think the coldest, this wine, the better.
Yeah, because of the herbaceousness and florality, I think that always likes more chilled temperatures, maybe.
How much is this one? How much is
$12.90?
12 something?
Yeah. Not if you bought the box, because you save money.
There is a younger one, right?
There's the albarín blanco, the normal one, which is the one I used to do on the tastings. It's a sort of a cleaner, simpler but a simpler version of this. And it's about 9, 10.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fermented on the barrels, and it's only 4 months. It's not an old wine. It's just a slightly more complex version of the young wine. Yeah. I agree with Luke. With cheese would be lovely. Sí, Eva está de acuerdo. Oh, yeah, Duncan. I think probably maybe shellfish would be quite good as well.
Yeah.
Oh, scallops.
Yeah.
So, or tamboriñas.
Tamboriñas a la plancha.
Yeah, so that Mum, if you're watching, all the scallops we were having last year in Galicia.
This is a torture.
I know.
Well, and the suggested glass, I would go for the second one. Of course.
As per usual, I say go for the biggest one. Right.
Or drink it directly from the bottle.
That's what we.
If the rest of the
Yes.
glass doesn't.
When we finish filming, like okay. Right now, I want to say a word about the winery. If
Yes.
I may. Laura, the hoppiness of an IPA may pair well. At the same time, Ben Green, the M&D, the Madrid and Daracot cookbook. We should do a recipe book.
Oh yes. Cooking naked.
No, why? Oh, no.
Naked recipes. No, something. Inclusive.
Well, we could steal. Jamie Oliver was the naked chef,
Okay.
so we could be the naked drunks. but
Anything with the word naked sells a lot.
It does sell. There's a company in England called Naked Wines which sells really well. And Craig, I have it. Delicious. Also, I hate oaky California Chardonnays. Yeah.
Yes.
And if anyone knows about oaky Chardonnays, it's you, Craig.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's talk about this.
So now I love this winery partly because it's one of those wineries where literally every single wine is good. There's no bad wines here. The whites are good, the reds are good. They even have some, I found they've got little sort of frizzante sweet things they've been making as well. It was formed in 1949 originally by a wonderful chap called Rafael Alonso. If you wanted a more Spanish name, good luck in finding that. And they're in a little town called Pardevalles, which is kind of a wine mecca in León. It's now in the third generation. So my contact is Hugo, and he's, the family. And he's also got, I think, his brother Rafa as well. And essentially, they are one of the leading lights, we could say. Thanks to them, we kind of have the wines we have of the grapes we have.
Dear friends of Madrid and Daracot, this is Javier from Bodegas Pardevalles. We are a third generation of a family-owned winery located in Valdevimbre, a village near León, in northern Spain. Today we're going to introduce our wine Pardevalles Carroleón Blanco, which is a single varietal albarín blanco, an indigenous grape variety with no relation at all with albariño, aged for 6 months in oak, of which we produce around 1,000 bottles. The most interesting thing about this wine is the grape. The albarín blanco is a very exotic indigenous grape variety, only 30 hectares grown in the world, all of them in the areas of León and Asturias. Some 10 years ago, it was almost extinct, and today we are strongly working to recover it. So let's taste the wine. It has a very appealing nose with a stone fruit character. Nectarines, peaches, grapefruit, very well mingled with aromas coming from the oak, as vanilla and some toasty notes as well. In the mouth, it's focused, fresh, and very well structured. Definitely, this is a wine that will pair very well with all kinds of salads, seafood, rice, and some white meats as well.
And here it is.
Wasn't that good?
Ah.
Do you see how it just like appeared on the screen?
We have very good contacts.
So that was Javier.
Everybody wants to be in the box.
Those of you watching, you know you want to be in the box.
Thank you very much, Pardevalles, for the video.
So that was Javier, who's the
quick
export
texting.
manager. I wonder if they sent him because he has like perfect English.
Yes.
He had the word mingles. The aromas mingle. I thought mingles.
Don't touch my mingles.
He wants to mingle in the box. So yeah, that was just obviously a quick introduction of sort of from them. But it is very much still a family-run business, which is what we like here. And thanks to Pardevalles and companies like that, there are certain grapes, basically two, one white, albarín, and one red, that have been yanked from the almost obscurity and brought into the forefront, and they've become the superstars of this area. Now, is this...
I have an idea for this winery.
Uh-oh. Be careful, Ugo.
You know what would be amazing?
Naked wine tastings.
And a sparkling version of
think-
albarín.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good idea. But like traditional method style.
Yeah.
If you're watching, Vino Espumoso de León.
Yes.
I wonder if they could...
I don't think they have sparkling wines.
I don't think I've seen anyone.
I have anyway the information here, so I can check it. Anyway, but let's talk a little bit about León.
No, wait. No, damn it.
Okay.
I want to talk very quickly about albarín.
Okay.
This guy. Very, very quickly. So we mentioned what it maybe tastes like and smells like. But even though really the best examples of albarín are in León these days, to be honest, and the majority of the very limited plantings in the country of albarín are also in León. It's not necessarily from León originally. Can we get León up on the screen at some point that people can see what I'm talking about? So there's León. If you go due north of León, you'll notice there doesn't seem to be much wine up there. That's because really the north of Spain, places like Asturias and Cantabria, the green mountainous north of the country, doesn't really have much winemaking because it's not great for wine. However, as far as I've managed to find, albarín, the white albarín, seems to have originated originally from Asturias. There's actually albarín tinto or albarín negro as well. But it's kind of found its home and it's found its kind of raison d'être and its best kind of version of itself in León. And it does, like I say, have this herbal, fruity, grassy mix of Verdejo, Albarino kind of thing. But originally it was from the Cangas de Narcea area in Asturias, where there is winemaking. It's coming back again. But really, León, the superstar, is albarín. And as Roque will probably mention as well, there is a famous red grape there. And most of the wines you find from León are either 100% this white grape or 100% their local red grape. So it's one of these wonderful, sort of easy to understand areas. And tell us about that area.
Well, no, the province of course, León wine region is located in the province, but it is not all the province of León, just the south of León. And actually it includes a lot of, like 15 municipalities of Valladolid. So it happens to be one of those inter-provincial wine regions.
Which should be illegal.
Yeah. there is Ribera del Duero in Soria, right?
Yeah, I know.
So it's one of those
Kind of
wine regions that
creeps over the
take
borders.
take the name of the province, but are not the province. So the temperature here, it's between rivers. So it's like a this little hill between rivers, and the weather is very continental, very, very continental.
It gets very cold in León.
Strong contrast of
Yeah,
temperatures, day and night, harsh winters.
We my friend Heather, her boyfriend is from Leon. He always says, "Hace mucho frío in Leon.
Yeah.
Very cold in Leon."
Well, the importance of this region comes from the it begins in the Middle Ages with the St. James Way, with El Camino de Santiago.
Have I done that?
Yes, and you wrote a book.
Oh, did I write a book?
That is here.
Classical myths. Mine's about a third of that size and far less purchased.
And it's not published by Penguin.
And that's actually good. Okay.
And so the St. James Way crosses this province, and also the Ruta de la Plata, la Vía de la Plata, from the
Well, quite a lot of places
Yeah.
meet in Leon, don't they?
begins with the discovery of America. We have discovered America.
Oh my God! It didn't exist before we were here.
So let's bring all the money from there. And
Would you like a handkerchief?
was the original way from the gold taken from America to being distributed all over Europe. So that is the Vía de la Plata. So those two ways, make the conjunction there in
It was
Leon.
a really important
And
crossroads.
it was a exactly, a very important area. That's why the industry of wine, let's call it industry, in the Middle Ages was bigger and bigger and bigger for providing wine to all these travelers, and business areas.
I mean, you had the great combination of people with money who wanted a drink,
Yeah,
and travellers who needed a drink.
exactly.
Little matiz, little nuance.
Exactly. So the grapes in this area, the main one, albarín, but also you have verdejo, godello, palomino, malvasia, and the reds. We have tried in one of the lockdown tastings the Prieto Picudo, the famous Prieto Picudo, is the main red grape there, but also Mencía is quite important, Garnacha and Tempranillo, as in all this area of Spain you have Tempranillos.
I have had a verdejo from Leon, from the.
Oh, how is it?
It was really nice, but I was actually there, and I had quite a lot of wines. It was one of these Salon de Vinos of like northwest regions, and I was looking for all the Leon ones because I really liked them, and I met a couple of winemakers, and at the end I was like, what is this? And she's like, es un verdejo. I was like, verdejo? What? And I was like, it's very nice. And I said to her, not rudely, but kind of joking, I was like, isn't that a bit pointless? So I was like, why bother? And she was like, yeah, we're going to change it to albarín. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. It's like, when you've got, I mean, that will mean nothing to people who don't live in Spain, but when you have a region like Rueda, which specializes in making verdejo, some are terrible, some are unbelievably good. If you have a region like Leon, which has two grapes, white and red, which you cannot find anywhere else in Spain, why do you make a verdejo? It's like, it would be like being in Bierzo, land of the great Mencía, and going, I'm going to make a Tempranillo. Why?
Yeah.
So, and she was like, yeah, we're going to change it. I was like, you're welcome.
Well, sometimes it's good to make this.
But not a verdejo.
We were going to try an albareño from Alicante.
Yeah. We will one day. One day. When the winery makes some more.
Well, we changed it for Lauro.
Yeah.
Lauro. For you.
Lauro. But yeah.
But yeah, well, so back to the region. It's not a very big wine region, but it still works. Around 2 million liters of wine every year. That remains mainly in the country. 25% of the production of Leon remains in Spain. Only the 15% goes abroad.
That's 85% to 15%. That's a big change.
Yeah.
I wonder where. Must be America.
Must be America, probably, yeah.
I think America has enough money to capture weird stuff.
Yeah.
I'll ask Hugo. I'll ask him. I'll see what he says.
And well, they mainly make reds and whites, but they also have excellent rosés.
I must say, the rosé of Pardevalles is the best rosé in the country.
Yeah.
Just saying that. Mic drop. €8 and it's perfect.
And yeah, I mean, so how would you describe the reds briefly?
I think they're brilliant.
Dark color.
But so I always sell
Intense color.
Intense color, but not too big.
Yeah.
So I always say it's like if
It
you
has this northern style already.
yeah, it's like if Tempranillo, me and the babies, if Tempranillo and Mencia had a baby, because you have that lovely dark pigment of Mencia and the freshness, but you have a nice bit of medium body tannins of a Tempranillo. It's not as heavy as a Tempranillo, it's not as light as a Mencia. It's kind of halfway between.
Okay.
And the reds love oak aging. We have the
It's more like if you and a Mencia had a baby.
That'd be a beautiful baby. Can I just say we've got so many comments coming through.
Okay. Homework for us.
By the way, if you have questions that you want us to answer,
Drop it in
please
the
do
chat.
write them in, because at the end we'll do some questions. So Ben says the Madrid and Daracot cookbook must be on the way. It will. We should do that.
Yeah.
Mal says the Madrid and Daracot cookbook will have 25 recipes for ensalada rusa. Those of you who are in our online tastings during the quarantine.
It has been a classic during the lockdowns.
Yeah,
tastings.
people kept annoying me when I'm trying to talk about the pH of the soil, and everyone's like, "Oh, shut up, Luke! We want the recipe."
But now that we have our own channel, I will upload the,
I actually
naked ensaladilla recipe.
No, YouTube won't allow that.
I will
Blur it out. Very small blur.
blur.
Matthias says, we have it too. Wasn't thrilled about the oakiness, but this is great. Yeah, it's not too oaky, which is the key. Laura again says, agreed. But in general, why would you ever make a Tempranillo? Now, Laura, that's very mean. Ribera, Toro, Rioja. Put yourself together, Laura. Nina, yay, ensalada rusa recipe. Send, please.
Yes, actually,
no, it's happening again.
I recorded the recipe for your
Yes,
for your
and
parents.
it was like 15 minutes.
Yes, and I was naked. Oh, but I mean, because of the angle of the camera.
My parents are never going to make that again. It was very good. If anyone wants the video, you don't.
Well, you cook it, and it was not bad.
It was really good. The secret, your secret, which I think is the best one, adding lettuce. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I'm more interested in the pH of the soil than ensalada rusa. Keep it real for the wine geeks. Thank you, Caroline. That's Abbott right there, Abbott. I don't actually know the pH of the soil of this one, but I do want to mention something before. If you have questions, please fire away. I do want to mention something. Can we repeat the red grape of the region? Prieto Picudo.
Prieto Picudo. Here you have the bottle.
Hang on, let's see the name there. Prieto Picudo.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to mention one quick thing, because I think of all of the wines we have today, next month, it's a good moment to quickly, just briefly mention the concept of autochthonous varieties, which people say quite a lot, which basically means the grape is from here. This is a really beautiful example of Spanish. Oh, hang on a minute. You're running out of wine. You're driving. It's a really good example of Spanish wineries realizing the potential of what they have in their area, or the grapes that were forgotten about. So
It's a very interesting topic.
So very quickly, I wrote this down 2 minutes before we started on air, just off the top of my head, because I'm very intelligent. So, in Asturias, Carrasquín, Verdejo Negro, and albarín Tinto, albarín Negro. So you already have these three things. Verdejo, but there's a red variety. Now, a lot of these grapes will have different names. In the islands, the Balearics, you have things like Manto Negro, Cayet, Fogoneo, all these weird words. In Valencia, from Arraiz, we have Arcos, which is the Moristel, Berdil, these kind of weird things. In Galicia, Sauson, Brancellao, Caíño, Merenzao, blah, 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 weird words. In Arribes del Duero and Salamanca, Bruñal, Bastardillo, Juan García, Rufete, Catalunya, Sumol.
We have a 100% Sumol
We do
there.
Trepat, all these amazing grapes. Spain has an embarrassing amount of grapes.
Yeah.
And we are in this beautiful sweet spot now where a lot of young winemakers and a lot of more classic winemakers are recovering them.
Yeah.
Now, do you think a lot of it is fashion?
Well, actually, it can be a marketing tool.
Yeah.
You introduce something new. There is an excuse, a reason to drink that wine, to try that new grape. and it's a marketing tool. But beyond that is also like a heritage keeping.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, imagine everything became Tempranillo one day. Oh. Actually, well, you had something funny the other day. Somebody came in and said, "I want a Sensibel."
Yes. And I said, "You mean Tempranillo, right?" No. Sensibel. 100%.
Like, we have lots of those.
Yes.
Because then you have the problem.
Hectoliters.
I have gallons and gallons and gallons. So then you have these grapes like Tempranillo, which have many different names. So I think more than France, and I say that with utter confidence, because we have a slightly more, not relaxed, because we have a more, there's regions everywhere and lots of young winemakers, and it's quite free, and you know, a lot of the denominaciones are quite open to the different varieties. You're finding a lot more of these autochthonous local varieties coming to the fore. And when we have people sending us wine, I don't care what the critics say from the first moment. I want to try the wine first. If they say, "Oh, we make 30,000 bottles," I don't care. If they say, "We've made this with an old grape called La Mujer Borracha." What? Yes, an old grape from the... now I'm interested. Now, is the wine good or bad? We'll see.
The thing is that sometimes, and especially it's a fault of the locals that they underestimate their autochthonous varietals. For example, in where I come from, that part of Spain, in my region,
Don't talk about that.
actually we have a vino de la tierra, vino de la tierra del campo de Cartagena, and we have a grape there called Merceguera. It's an autochthonous grape. You have it in all Alicante as well, blah, 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 in all the areas
Valencia,
of the southeast of Spain. But it's not considered as a good grape for wine. It's considered a little bit rough, a little bit too strong, not elegant.
Not like the people, basically.
But the thing is that we have tried good Mercegueras, and we have
some.
2, 3, 4,
Three, four?
3, 4 Mercegueras here, really good, with excellent reviews, and super good price because it's not having taken in consideration by the
I think that's like part of it. A big part of it is that. Another big part of it is historically, when wine was starting to become popular, you can imagine if you're a farmer who makes wine, why would you plant this more difficult variety like Mencía or Merceguera when I can plant Chardonnay? I can plant Merlot, easier ones, and names that commercially people know.
By the way, we have a Chardonnay mixed with
Chardonnay Merceguera blend is really good. So yeah, I think we're in this golden age now where you're getting these old native grapes mixed with modern, very good winemaking, making amazing wines.
So when you find a wine made with an autochthonous or an unknown grape, be brave and try that wine, because maybe you discover something completely different, something new that you love it.
The worst thing that happens is you get drunk.
Yeah.
Nina, love Begamar's Merceguera, fell in love with it a few years ago, always buy when I'm in Valencia, different, lovely. We have their ancestrals.
We have their ancestral sparkling wines. Begamar, they make really good wine actually.
Yeah, there's a.
But the Merceguera we have, it's the Cericius one, the for Murviedro. Tarima Hill, and we have also there are more. Mestizaje is Merceguera.
Yeah, Mestizaje, which is also Bodegas Mustiguillo, also Valencia area. That's it.
We have one more that I'm losing now.
That's the albarín.
So it's a grape that. If you talk to people from my homeland and they say, let's make wine here. Wine with what? With Merceguera? That's now you cannot make good wine with that. Yes, you can make it. You need a good enologist, a good winemaker behind, and you get it.
If you can even understand the people from your area. So yes, just a quick reminder now that we actually have more people in here. As always, as we said at the start, do remember to take photos of your cata that you're doing right now. Or
Because
if you're,
what happens if they take a picture and they upload it? Look.
you'll be part of the lottery and you might win a bloody expensive bottle of wine.
Yes.
So yeah, don't forget. Cella de Raures, yeah, Cuillerot. We had that. We had the Cuillerot. I used to sell that. It was one of those wines. It was the one which had all the little. It was like black and white little things all over it. That was a really nice wine. It was like they just looked at every grape in the vineyard and like, yeah, just throw that in. Pedro Jimenez, Verdil, Chardonnay, Merceguera. Yeah, chuck it in. It was great.
Once more, we want to repeat that we already have set up the October box. That will be the next October tasting. Would be like in the first week of October. I don't remember.
And this
the
one,
first Wednesday.
I think this one's even better.
Oh, it's really good.
You should definitely buy it. I think it's even better. You should
It's
definitely buy it.
really good. Well, you can go already to the website, and it's there. You can see the wines. We have one of the probably the best Pinot Noir we have in Spain.
I would say so.
We have a beautiful aged red from Cigales, a wine region that we are going to explore.
A superb Spanish.
yeah.
Wait for it.
We have a 100% Syrah. That is
Yeah.
also a little bit rare. We have one of the best Tempranillo Blancos in the country, the La Mateo. And
a
what
rosé.
else we have? And they make it only once every 2 years.
It's like it's like the eclipse.
Yeah.
Or the football. The football is that every 2 years? I don't know.
Juan Gil Rosado. Juan Gil Rosé.
I think that's
have I
it.
said all?
Yeah, I said the Gewürztraminer.
Oh yeah, there was a minute. Yeah.
So I think that's all for this. I did. Oh,
Same-
a great
same-
idea.
same price, same
This
price
would
as
go
the-
really well with sushi. There we go.
Sushi.
Yes.
You are in a very Japanese mood.
I'm gonna make udon later.
You could pair anything with sushi.
Yes.
These days.
Cup of tea? Yes, sushi. Water from the streets? Yes, sushi. Well, I think we just want to say thank you again to the team at Pardevalles, Hugo, Rafa, Javi, everyone, for making such bloody good wines. And do try and find them. We have a few we have most of them in our shop. Come and buy them. But yeah, this is a really elegant.
Well, because
wine.
of the COVID restriction, the new restrictions here in Madrid, we have to place no more than 6 people in our tastings. But luckily, we have 2 levels in the shop. So
And 2
we
drunks.
are going to, for tomorrow's and the next tastings, we are going to have 6 people here, 6 people downstairs.
Sorry, Laura just said you didn't say Gewürztraminer with the proper German thoughts. Gewürztraminer. There you go. My hair went a bit like.
Well,
so yeah.
if you say how the distributors calls the wine, it's quite funny.
Gewürztraminer.
No,
No?
he says, "Somos Gewürz."
Gewürz.
Gewürz.
That's actually better. Louder. No, I can't do it louder because then I might be put out of business. So, are we ready to say goodbye to these lovely people?
Lovely people. Goodbye.
Have a smashing Wednesday. And,
Yes, I'll see you on Sunday. Same time, 9:30. We are going to try César Márquez Parajes.
My favourite wine in the box. Can't wait.
I'll see you on Sunday.
Bing! Awkward sign off. Oh no! Oh no, they're still watching us. This is
Wow.
so awkward. Oh, hello, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.